Okay, this is a quick tour of the AWBC database that I'm working on. And the thought was if we can find a way to build a database that handles almost all of the data scrubbing and then exports it back out, it might save a tremendous amount of time. So mostly what I've done is mirrored out all of the fields that are in the spreadsheet you guys provided so that those export out. The data coming in, I was assuming would either come from a publisher spreadsheet, from our book list if you're using it, or from, say, Edelweiss. So the fields that we're looking at up here are pretty much all fields that exist in the spreadsheet that we want to export out. And these are being fed by, if we scroll down here, some other fields that we don't need to look at. This is just workshopping that would then take, say, a book list or an Edelweiss field and translate it into the field that we need for the AWBC spreadsheet. So for example, authors, it would take author last name field and add it to the author first name field to give us the full author for 1, 2, and 3. Formatting would be adhering to what the specifications that they have. Publisher name, this would feed in from the spreadsheet, and then we would build up a small database of the publisher codes based on what you guys have. We would translate out the codes for binding either in the book list or in Edelweiss over to whatever they need here. And if you notice, there's a different silo here for all the bindings. So if they did need specific binding codes, we could set these up so that the board book would be whatever they prefer. And it looked like from some of the samples that they were just asking for this hardcover / trade paper, but we can further refine that pretty easily. The other silo that we have is publishers. So if we add and delete different publishers, we can click over here and add them in. So for example, if we import in some Union Square, it would automatically grab the pub code for Sterling. Similar for Norton, whatever these happen to be, we have ability to edit all of those pretty easily. You'll notice that some of the fields are green. So if this is a required field and it is empty, then it would show up as green. Similarly, if I go through a couple of the titles, the comp titles, if the comp title is empty, it'll just export out or show up as green so that we can fill it in there. For comp titles, a couple of things. If we plug in an ISBN here, the first thing the system will do is look at the book list, if we've got this in the same folder, to see if that title exists. So if we're using another, say, Abrams title as the reference point, we'll just grab the same ISBN because we know it exists. And if we were to import that ISBN somehow, it would automatically go and grab that particular title, which is really nice. Now, if this didn't exist, if we didn't know what the title was, say it was from Random House, we have another little function here. So if we click the comp ISBN, this takes us to a different silo that grabs this comp ISBN and shows us the Edelweiss page so we could fill it in. So if this were a book from a different publisher that we did not know, we could then type in the title very easily and see it and add it into the spreadsheet for anything that was missing. There's also an ISBN here. If we click this launches Edelweiss page specifically for that particular book if you need to grab that for any particular reason. It's kind of nice. Notes field is your own stuff. The export we would customize so that it spits out the exact spreadsheet you needed. Comments, I'm sorry, the catalog and catalog detail. This would be the catalog that comes out of, say, our book list or from Edelweiss. We can have that feed into the catalog name that AWBC needs if we need to. I think that's most of the rundown here. We've got a couple other little silos here. Actually, we already looked at those, all fields. Now, for bringing in titles, for example, so this is a raw spreadsheet from Edelweiss, and you notice that this is all of their fields. Most of those correspond with minimal scrubbing. So if I take this and take it to this spreadsheet, all I've done is rename some of these categories. So this is now ISBN, we don't need that. BISAC title, we're going to change the author field to split them. I find that having an author name first and last split is much more helpful than having it all together because the formatting can be awfully strange. So these fields are all the same: naming, page count, series, print run. This format will feed in with that, pub date. And here's where I split out the author first name and last name, and I can show you how to do that with a quick find and replace, and then a function called data text to column, which just splits. So if we have this one all set and we import this information, I'll just show you how quickly how it populates. So we're looking at the adult scrub, open. We're going to add new records, matching names. So this just pushes in, doing the auto upport. All right, perfect. So there we go. That's all those titles are already in there with almost all of these particular fields populated properly. Now this was Union Square, so I'm going to select Union Square, and you'll notice that it grabs their pub code for us. If I click back in here, command =, I'm just going to make sure that all of these get set as Union Square. So if I scroll through, you'll notice that they're now all Union Square. Comp titles, these are missing right now, but we can import on top of this if we need to. So for example, I think I exported some comp titles there, so I'm going to do another file, import file, and in that same spreadsheet, this is from a markup that I pulled out of Edelweiss. Pretty simple. So ISBN, and then I split the comp titles. So we're going to update this. We're not going to add remaining. We're going to run by matching names. So the ISBN of the main title, feeding in an ISBN of a comp title. Import that in, 160. And then we'll see that those are there. And some of them came in. So Hannah, this is a book that was in my database already. This one is not. So what we could do is we could bounce over to this database. Edelweiss will tell us what this title is. So very simply, Nightingale, done. Now we've got that comp title set in there. Case packs, probably we need to set that to flag for being empty or non-zeros. So it's that easy. Basically, we can just do minimal scrubbing on the other side, import it in, and then import on top of it with additional comps as you need them. Similarly with previous ISBNs. And there was one other thing that I was going to say. Oh, regarding titles, it was unclear to me whether they need scrubbing that's done to pull out things like commas or punctuation. I have a set of functions that we could program in that would automatically scrub those out. So if they didn't want ampersand and exclamation points, we could manipulate this field so it automatically pulls out. Right now what it's doing is taking the title that's being pulled in from Edelweiss or imported, and it's not scrubbing it at all. It's just translating it over into this field. But we could automatically scrub out punctuation and things like that if needed. So give that some thought. Hopefully this is helpful. Thanks.